Housing market downturn wipes $2.3 trillion in value as experts predict prices could still tumble another 10%. The total value of U.S. homes has fallen to a record high $47 trillion. I'm sorry, a record high of $47 trillion in June, collective value to now $45.3 trillion, representing the largest June to December drop since the subprime mortgage crisis in '08. Though home prices are up 1.5% over the past year, the median price has fallen about 11.5% from a peak of $433 in May, $383 in January, as higher mortgage rates drive up borrowing costs and sideline potential home buyers. Last week, U.S. home purchase applications fell to a 28-year low. That's a big number, Tom. 28-year low to U.S. home applications.
Huge.
28 is what? That's 1995. That's a long time ago, 28-year low. Hardest hit areas include regions adversely affected by waves of technology layoffs and skyrocketing prices during the pandemic include San Francisco, Oakland, New York. San Fran is down 7%. Oakland is down 4.5%. New York is down 1 point. Pantheon Macro ultimately projects home prices will fall about 20% from their peak by the end of the year, suggesting the median price could tumble another 10% to $346. Go ahead, Adam.
Well, I kind of want to throw this back to you because you've taken a lot of heat for kind of calling this. People would come up to me or you and say, does Pat want real estate prices to go down? And I think that, raise your hand if you've heard Pat talk about this on the podcast. So
raise your hand and you're in real estate and you still show up. That's the real question.
Yeah. So every realtor is going to say, no, the market's fine. It's all good. Great time to buy. It's like, really? You just bought a house a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Top of the market, some would say.
Yep.
So what's been your strategy? And you're not anti-real estate. You want the market to go up. You don't want it to go down, but you're also a realist. So what's been sort of your outlook strategy of why you did a whole generational wealth, real estate. You've done a couple webinars on that. What's been your mindset when it comes to real estate?
15 years is the last time we had a market crash. That's a long time. 15 years.
Oh, wait.
We haven't had one for a long time. We're overdue. We've never had a season where more fake money has been pumped into the system like today. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of fake equity. We have a lot of fake success. We have a lot of fake millionaires. And too often, fake success or fake millionaires is just like somebody winning the lotto. You don't have the identity of it, so you're overspending, you're over-leveraged, you have so many different things that you're paying on, you're concerned, you're afraid when a buyer comes in. Like the other day, we were looking at this property, 6500 Federal. It's down the street a block away. We went and looked at it. They bought this property in '08 for $13.5 million, commercial real estate. So we go look at the property, beautiful place, 54,000 square feet. You and I went in there. Rob, you and I kind of very much so went in there and looked at every single floor. And we come in with a suit. The lady's like, can I help you with anything? I said, yeah, we're working with management. We're just checking on this property to see. Everything good? Yes, everything good. Fantastic. Thank you so much. We're just looking around, you know. The buyer is asking for $8.5 million. And he bought it at $13.5 in 2008. Okay. This doesn't mean it's happening everyone. By the way, 2008 is not a peak. '06 was peak.
Right.
2008 market tanked 38%.
Right.
So again, the people who have cash and made the right choices and they're ready for this, they're going to skyrocket and kill it and make the kind of money they've never made before. The people that had a lot of fake success in the last few years and they kept spending money, they're going to get exposed and they're going to get destroyed. And I don't think this is the end of it. Think about it this way. Right now, who controls the most important knob? Jerome Powell controls the most important knob. What number is he trying to lower inflation to?
2%.
Where are we at right now?
6.5.
What is 6.4, 6.5%? What is the only thing he can do to lower it?
Raise rates.
According to Tom, he wants to go up to the attic and start banging out some interest rates. And
Pounding is a better word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pounding was the right
So Tom, how many more times do you think he's going to be increasing rates?
Right. Well, I agree with what Adam says about analysts, because a lot of analysts, words are just words until they're numbers. I like to look at numbers. And there's a lot of people from the real estate industry.
I think he was calling you out honestly publicly, and I was offended by it. And I would be upset if I were you. I don't like it. But
just
go ahead.
notice what's happening.
Go ahead.
Tom is starting to agree with Adam a little bit more.
Weird.
And more. So we'll do something to maybe have a fight today for the audience that thinks we don't like each other, but we got a lot of love
they
for
really
each other.
don't like each other. That's the truth. Just don't let them fool you.
No, that's Mario. Where's Mario?
Go ahead,
Shout out to
Tom.
Mario over here. Where's he?
No problem. Screw you very much. Anyway, so the numbers that I'm looking at that we see in what you're talking about real estate here is a couple things. The supply of homes is at the lowest that it's been in about, it's more than that. It's like 20 years. The supply for sale, that's a real number. The number of buyers that are in the market is at a 28-year low. That's a real number. And you hear the real estate industry, they make their comments and everything, and I kind of look at it this way, saying, I don't only ask the butcher whether the meat is fresh, right? I want to confirm it. So when you look at this and you look at where the Fed is, I think the Fed's got 3 more rate increases. And that's an estimate. But the estimate is we just had a really strong jobs report. And we've had some false positives in certain earnings reports. I mean, if you bought Tesla at early January, you doubled your money in the last 35 days. Right now it's settled at 200, but there's a lot of those things that are in the market. Meanwhile, it all comes back and it kind of hits kind of hard. Folks were believing that the Fed was going to raise rates this year, maybe 2 more times, quarter points. Well, just a week to 2.5 weeks ago, they threw a quarter point at us, and they're coming back out on March 15th. And March 15th is a date where they will also make economic projections and make all those numbers reports. And everybody now is looking at it and saying, you know what? I think the Fed's going to raise a 0.5 point, and Powell is making comments like he's going to raise a 0.5 point. Right now, the Fed rate is 4.75. A 0.5 point, that's 5.25. The so-called experts, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, last November were saying, well, 5.25 is like the maximum we see, and then it's going to be dropping down at the end of second quarter. Well, right now with inflation, factual numbers, certainly doesn't look like it's going to drop, and people believe that on May 3rd and June 14th, the Fed's going to put another quarter point based on what we're seeing in the hot job market, which means that the interest rate is probably going to hit 5 3/4, not just 5 1/4. What does that mean for housing? If it hits there, that means the interest rates, which right now they popped up. Those have been real estate. We saw a pop up over the last 3 weeks, right, in rates. I think rates right now, I'm seeing some nods that if you kind of below average credit, you're probably looking at 7 1/4 right now. Having popped up on the 30 and the 15, maybe 6.5. And so those rates are going to be up close to 8. I don't like this news. So people that have said things to Pat or myself on Twitter, oh, you guys are bears, you don't like the housing market. No, the housing market is people, it's us, it's citizens, it's buying a house, it's getting into something. And these are facts here, these numbers that are not pointing to a rebound in housing in the first half of this year, along with, it looks like Jerome Powell's going to make 3 more trips to the attic to visit the cheerleader.
Yeah. Bang. Tom, what were you saying about the butcher? What was the butcher analogy you said?
I like to say this is, I don't just ask the butcher whether the meat is fresh. I also want to confirm.
All right. Well,
And
there's
so-
a famous quote from the philosopher Tommy Boy. You guys ever seen this? He said, you can get a good look at a T-bone steak by sticking your head up a cow's ass, but I'd rather take the butcher's word for it. You know about this.
Yeah, 100%.
So what I do want to, you guys don't know about that one? Shout out to Tommy Boy.
He's like,
It's
you
a
take
very
a good
weird
look at
moment.
the cow's back.
I mean, you're talking
Right.
about pounding up in the attic
but-
and Tommy Boy. What I do want to do is share a story that Pat called me up one day, and I live in Miami, and he's like, "What are you up to?" I'm like, "I'm just in Miami." He's like, "Come meet me at the Hadid building." Remember that? Which is the.
By the way, if you can put up the Hadid building, it's a beautiful building. It's a women's body, essentially building, right? That's kind of like how the
1,000 Biscayne, Miami.
when you Google that, you may go to porn, Rob. Just
Let's try to
you guys
do
should
that.
have seen what he put up.
Just
I
go
don't know
to
if you see
images,
it or
Rob.
not.
It's a beautiful
Rob, that's
building
a
right
wow
there.
website.
Beautiful
Wow.
building. So
It's like the overhead shot of the World
That looks
Cup
like a
stadium.
woman?
Yeah, there's.
That the hell kind of girl are you
Talk to the
dating?
artist.
Who are you dating?
Who are you dating?
By the way,
Now
the designer is a woman. She died.
Gigi, the Hadid family, you know Bella Hadid.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is their aunt. She died while it was going on. I actually lived at the building to the right of it and to the left of it. So Pat goes, I could not afford to live in this building. This is like David Beckham lives there and the hedge fund guys. It's like minimum, I want to say $10 million entry. We're trying to get there. But he goes, hey, come meet me at this building. You're familiar with it? I go, yeah, I lived right next door for 10 years. So we go there and we go to the penthouse, right? Sick unit. And it was listed at, I want to say $40 million, give or take. And it was actually hilarious. We're on a tour. Mario's with us. And the lady comes to me and she says, like, so what are you doing? I go, well, you know, I'm here with my boyfriend, Mario. And
But he
She's like,
says it with a straight look on his
Straight look.
face.
Good.
And meanwhile, she goes to Mario and she's like, so what are you and your boyfriend looking for? He's like, it's not. I like to mess with Mario a little bit. But Pat says, so this is
No, you got to finish the story. Mario's like, who's my boyfriend? So it's like, well, you and Adam. Says, that's not my boyfriend. Says, you know what? I really didn't see you guys together. I didn't see that he was
No,
your match.
I would get a way hotter guy than Mario, for sure. But he is. Shout out to Mario getting married and having a baby.
Let's go, Mario!
I mean, amazing. So we've got a brotherly love thing going on. So we go to this building. It's a $40 million unit, if not more. And Pat has his realtor that you brought, and the unit had their realtor. And Pat says, listen, let me just cut to the chase here. This is how Pat kind of negotiates. He says, I'm going to make an offer. They're like, great. He goes, but it's going to be very disrespectful. She goes, please don't disrespect. Don't disrespect me. He's like, it's going to be a disrespectful offer. And it was listed for 40. I think they bought it for 30, I want to say. Pat says, I'm going to offer, would you offer 13? 13?
I thought it's a fair offer. 13 million cash, 24 hours.
Spit in your face disrespect. They said no, but I think they countered at what number? 18?
23.
23?
It ended up selling at 19.
Ended up selling
Yeah.
at 19. Did it sell?
It sold for 19.
So here's my
Yeah.
point. We're talking about the market. We're talking about real estate. Here's a unit that was ridiculous unit. Gorgeous. He even teased me with like, what do you think? Can you see yourself living here? And I'm like, Pat, don't even play with me right now. So that's just a poignant example of these luxury markets that have majorly taken a hit. I mean, even your situation with your car that, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but some of these asset prices have been inflated and it's coming down to reality. And I think we should have bought that for 18.
But by the way, because you would have
Yeah,
taken
would've-
care of, he would have been a house sitter.
take-
What a house sitter!
Yeah.
What a generous house sitter you are, right?
There's rumors out there that women are doing more of the working and men are staying at home. I would gladly stay at home.
We have by the way, that is a story we will cover here in a minute. But no, you're right. Here's the part that concerns me. A car payment. My dad wanted a car, okay? So I said, my dad's like, just get me anything. You know, my dad drives for I don't know how many years he drove that 1979 diesel until the day. He said, when this engine dies, I'm going to die. This is how strange my dad is. The day the engine dies, he thinks he's dying. Yes or no, babe? He went to the hospital 2 weeks. They said, sir, you're okay. He says, no, the engine on my Mercedes died. The doctor's like, that's a car. You're a human being. He says, but we're going to die same day.
But
No,
I
you're
know.
not, sir. You're still living. Anyways, so I said, Dad, let's just buy you a car. You know, let's just buy you. What kind of car do you want? Do you want do you want this car? Do you want? No, I just want a regular car. I just want a regular car. Finally, Jen's like, babe, do you know what the car payments are on a regular $40,000 car? I said, how much, babe? Like I'm thinking $500 or whatever, right? No, babe, $850. I said, for what? He says, if you want to lease a car or get a car today, you know what's the first thing do you know right now it's the highest car payment, average car payment in the history of America? You know what the number is? It went up $200 in a year.
So it's
it went
what,
from like
700
$540
now?
to $770 in a year. Middle America's income hasn't gone up 40% or 20%. How the hell are people, $700 right there.
Yep.
The average car payment in the history of America is the highest it's ever been, and it's climbing. So why is it climbing? Car prices are not climbing. Car prices, used car prices are coming down. Watch prices are coming down. Collectible cards are coming down. Bitcoin, you know where it's at. Ethereum, you know where it's at. So luxuries in every possible way are going down because people buy, not saying this is $1 million home. People buy saying, I can afford a $6,000 a month payment. That $1 million home, $6,000 a month payment today is $8,000. $7,500. How do you come up with that additional $1,500 if you didn't get the raise? So what are people going to be doing with this? It's automatic. You have to either desperately, the people that bought a house that they couldn't afford, hoping they're going to make $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 of equity, they're stuck right now. Yep. So imagine if these guys, so right now the only indicator that people ought to be watching closely, and by the way, thank you for the reminder to go to our sponsors here in a minute. Adam, you're wonderful.
Yep, yes sir.
Here's the biggest indicator that concerns me. Unemployment today is 3.4%. Okay, it's a 60-year low. Unemployment is 3.4%, 60-year low. When you think about unemployment and interest rates being high, unemployment is low. If they lower interest rates, unemployment's going to go up. If this 3.4 goes to 4.4, 5.4, if we're at 5.4, people don't have income to pay their car payment and their mortgage payment and their bills. What are they going to do? They're going to have to start dumping what they have, and they're going to dump it for pennies on a dollar because they don't have a choice. So that is my speculation of what's going to be happening if this goes on.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.